So hi there, welcome to this video on JavaScript. Today we are going to learn about promises and async await. This is the two super useful tools that help us deal with tasks that take time, like loading data from the internet. Now don't worry if you don't know about this much more. I will explain everything clearly and step by step. So what is a promise? So promise is a JavaScript. So in a JavaScript, the promise is this is a kind of a promise that let's think about it, that you are making a promise to your parents or your loved one. You say you will do something for them, but you are not sure when exactly you will do it, or you might do it now, later, or maybe not at all. So the promise is like a guarantee that says I will try to do this, but I'm not sure when. So this promise or the promises in JavaScript can be in three states. So the first one is the pending. This means the task is still happening. The second one is fulfilled. The task is complete and everything worked out. And the last is the rejected. That is something went wrong and the task didn't work out. Let me show you an example. Okay, let me show you an example that how we can create a promise in JavaScript. Okay, okay, and okay, let me write this code first. So let my promise, I'm making this named it as my promise. Okay, my promise is new promise. Okay, new promise. So I will pass this callback function. Okay, so I will pass this as two props, that is the resolve and the reject. Okay, so let success make it as true. Okay, so finally let's say if success, if it is true, then resolve it. And I will pass some data like everything worked. Okay, and if not, else reject, like something went wrong. Okay, so here we actually created a promise that has two possible outcomes. If this success is true, it resolves, meaning everything went well, like this will print it. Okay, and if it is false, it rejects and something went wrong, that is something went wrong. Okay, now the once a promise is made, you probably want to know what happened, like did it succeed or not, or did it fail. Okay, so this is where the dot then and dot catch come in. Okay, so dot then is used to handle the success part when the promise is fulfilled, and uh, the dot catch is used to use that is used only for the error message. Okay, handle the failure part when the promise is rejected, if the promise is rejected. So let me show you how it works. Okay, so I create this my promise, and let's say my promise I will say dot then. Okay, I will pass this callback function. Okay, so over here I will say this message. Okay, and simply log this first. log this message. Okay. Okay, and uh, okay, and this is the catch. Okay, my bad. So this is the error. I will pass this error over here like this, and I will say console dot log and this error. Okay, like this, and we can see this everything is worked. Okay, so here if the promise is fulfilled, so in this case, let me no formatting option. So here if the promise is fulfilled, dot then will print the success message, that is the everything worked. And if there is an error, dot catch will print the error message, that is what we need. Okay, so so this is all about promises. So now let's talk about async and await. Okay, these tools make working with promises a whole lot easier and cleaner. With async and await, we can write code that looks like regular code, even though it's handling asynchronous way other tasks. Okay, so how it works? Like when you add async to a function. Okay, when you add any async to a function, it tells JavaScript that this function will return a promise. But it's nice because the code inside the function will look just like a normal simple code. Let me show you an example. Let me comment this out. Okay. Let's say clear this first, and this is the async function. Okay, async function. uh, I will name it as my function, like this. Okay, so I will return hello, hello from async. Okay, like this. Okay, so even though this function looks like it's returning just a string, but because it's marked as async, JavaScript treats it like it is returning a promise. And to mean that, uh, JavaScript only treats this thing is actually as a promise. Okay, so that is why I told you before that even though this is a function, this is a function, so it looks like a function. It returning a string within it. It's marked as async. Okay, but JavaScript will returning it as a promise. Okay, so now let's talk about await. So you can only use await inside an asynchronous function. The job of await is to pause the code. Okay, pause the code until the promise is like finished. uh, it's like saying wait here until the task is done, then move on. Okay, so let me let's look at an example where we can fetch data from the internet. Okay, let's say so for that I have to go with this JSON placeholder, and that is the, I think, ty. Okay, this is the code. Okay, free fake rest API is over here, and if I um, type a code, this is the okay. So we need this um, JSON, like this is all we need. So I will need this only the not to do, so I will use the posts over here like this. Okay, let's say it like this, post, and oops, not in uppercase. Okay, like this. Okay, going back to my code pen and clear it first. Let's say async um, function, async function. I will say named it as fetch data. Okay, so let's say let make a variable, say response, as response. Okay, await fetch, and I will simply pass this. Okay, within the code. Okay, and let's make another variable called data that will be make this response, make the response, okay, this response into the JSON file, convert it. Actually this will convert it into the JSON file. Response, I think not response, this is resp and the JSON method. Okay, and if I console log this data over here, console.log the data over here. Okay, and I'll call this fetch data, fetch data. Why it is not working? Fetch data over here like this. Okay, you can say this is uh, um, genuinely fetching this data from the JSON place data, this API. You can see this. Okay, this data all we need, and yeah, it's working. Okay, so here actually await makes sure the fetch function finishes before moving on to response, this res.json. This is actually res, actually the meaning of the response in short form. So this way we don't need to worry about timing or using dot then. It makes the code much cleaner and easier to follow. Okay, so the next is uh, the try catch with the async await handling errors. Okay, so one more thing to keep in your mind when using async and await in error handling, you don't want your program to crash if something goes wrong. Okay, this is where we try and catch come in. So think of try as saying like try to do this, and catch says if something goes wrong, catch the error and handle it. Okay, so here is how we can implement this logic, this try catch method. Okay, so this is the fetch data. Let me first cut this over from here, and this is the try and this is the catch. This is similar, this syntax is kind of similar, has a similarity to the if else statement, so this is the catch. Okay, and I will pass this error props within this catch parenthesis. So I will paste this first. So this is the response. I will fetch this API over here and let data, and I this storing the response dot JSON into this data, and I will simply console this. Okay, and catch error, that is the console dot log, and will say oops, say oops, something went wrong. Okay, like this. So now if there is an error, for example, if like the network request fails, the catch block will handle it, and we won't see an unhandled error crash in this program. Okay, so and sometimes we might want to combine promises with async and await in the same function. Okay, and that is totally fine, but you can use both together to get the benefits of this both async and await. So let's say let's use this, you know let me comment this and let uncomment it and cut this from here and paste it over here. Okay, this is a promise. Okay, and I'm creating an asynchronous function. Okay, and named it as handle promise. Handle promise, like this. Okay, and I will try and catch. Oops. Okay, so I will say let result equals to await my promise. Await my promise. Okay, await my promise, and this I will console this, log this first, console log over here, and this result like this. Okay, and within this catch I will say console.log this error, please. Okay, so okay, now I have to call this handle promise function. Handle promise, like this. So everything is worked. So let me recall this. Okay, yep, but it's not handle promise. Okay, yep, everything worked. So in this case we are using async await to wait for the promise to finish. Okay, and catch to handle any potential errors. So this is very clean and readable way to manage asynchronous tasks. Okay, so to wrap it up, we have learned that promises help us handle tasks that take time. With the async and await, we can make our code cleaner, easier to read, especially when working with tasks like fetching data from the internet or the API. Don't forget, use async to turn a function into one that works with promises, and use await to pause the code until the promise finishes. And always handle errors with try catch block. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you understand promises and async await a little better. Keep practicing and happy coding, and please give me some review that I can work upon it much more and much harder. Thank you so much.